Hello, hello, this is Jeff Helvin with Ballen Brands, and today I am excited to walk you through our Autopilot ISA campaigns. So once you log into Infusionsoft, you're simply going to go to the top left under the Infusionsoft icon, hover over that, and you're going to see under Marketing there's the Campaign Builder. This is where all of your campaigns in automation live in what we set up for you. So here you're going to see a series of campaigns actually. That's the Buyer Arrival, Buyer Survival, and Buyer Revival, as well as the Seller Arrival, Seller Survival, and Seller Revival. So let's go ahead and click into the Buyer Arrival campaign. Now you may have to bear with me because when I'm recording my screen of the campaign, this is a very heavy campaign, and so the page loads a little bit slower. But we're going to work right through this here. So what you're seeing here is looks pretty complicated. I believe a team member recently in the past had called it dinosaur DNA. So for us it actually makes a lot of sense, but of course if this is the first time you're looking at Infusionsoft campaigns, there's really quite a bit to look at here. So I'm going to walk you through what matters here, and we won't get too granular into the details. So the way this works is a new contact comes into the system, and then we apply a tag. It's usually how we launch these campaigns, is that a tag is applied. And these tags exist in your system. And under the Ballen category for Launch Autopilot ISA Arrival Buyer Campaign. So once that tag is applied, it actually runs through what they call a sequence. So it comes through this sequence here, which is a 90-day email sequence, and down this sequence as well, that's a 90-day text sequence. And the way these work is they actually interact off of each other. Technically they're completely separate, but we have them timed to where a text message goes out at a certain time, and then an email goes out, and then a text message, and then an email, and then an email, and a text message. And basically the way the schedule works out between them both, they interact. They don't go out at the same time, a text and an email, but they're spread out throughout the days and weeks of upcoming. So in the email sequence, when I double click on that, I can see that this campaign starts here. It waits 30 minutes. So once that tag is applied, it waits 30 minutes and runs between 8:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. and then sends this first email. So when I open the email, you'll see it comes from whoever the contact's assigned to. It goes to the email address on the contact that this is going out to, and it has a subject line of so-and-so I tried to reach you. So in this case, I'm gonna refer to Tom, because Tom's who I have in my system as my test contact here. So Tom, I tried to reach you. Now in the actual email content itself, it says, "Hello Tom, did you find what you're looking for in your home search? I tried reaching out to you today because I work with a team of experts that can help answer every question from how to find the perfect home to what you need to do to qualify for a purchase. How can we best help you? Simply click your option below." Now, of course, this is an email that goes out to them, so they can simply, in their email program, click the reply button and actually respond via email that way. But the other options here, we see them interact with much more, and we give them options to please call me to discuss, I'm not ready to talk to anyone yet, I already have an agent helping me, and please don't contact me any further. Now notice, we've actually given them 3 options for us to not reach out to them, and 1 option for us to reach out to them. And we've done that by design. Our goal here is to not spend time on leads that come into the system that don't want us pursuing them. It may just not be time yet. Especially for cold web leads, a lot of times these leads could be 8 months, 12 months, 15 months or longer before they're really actually ready to make a purchase. And what we notice with our leads is that a lot of times they're not ready to interact with someone. They don't want to waste our time is what they might say. And they feel like because they're not ready, they know they don't qualify, they don't want to talk to us right now. And you know, in the business, that may, for some people, that may be great. You don't ever want to talk to them until they're actually qualified and ready to make a purchase. And in other people, for other agents, this gives us an opportunity to actually pursue and build a rapport with this client when they are ready. Because at this point, we haven't established any relationship whatsoever. So these are simply links that allow them to click. They can click these links, and it will send us, Infusionsoft will send back us a notification of how they responded and give us an opportunity to follow up with them. So you'll see below it has the owner signature. So the signature is another merge field that's actually defined in Infusionsoft under your user account, so that's automatic. And then this information here is also fed in automatically from your Infusionsoft setup. So that is an email. It's just a sample of the emails. I'm not going to go through every one, but it gives you an opportunity to see. So then what we do is we have the system apply a note that says that the first Autopilot ISA campaign email was sent. And then I put auto next to it so you know that this was an automated message that went out to them. And it says what it was that was sent to them. So did you find what you were looking for in your home search? I tried reaching out to you, and so forth. Right? So I go back, and then it's going to wait 3 hours and then run at 10 a.m. Okay, so it's going to wait at least 3 hours and run at 10 a.m. So in this case, if this came in at 8:30 in the morning or at 5 o'clock at night, it's going to not send until 10 a.m. the next day. Then we send another email. We apply a note saying that the email was sent. Then we wait 8 hours and run at 5 p.m. the next day. So you'll notice that this is a new touch each day, and it's scheduled specifically at different times of the day because some people respond at different times of the day. So this is all done by design. And what you're looking at here, they call it the snake. So these are all attached. So this points to this one, and then this runs, and then this runs, and then this runs. And when it gets to the end of the line, instead of this being the next one starting over here, it would drag this line all the way over there and start a new line. So instead, it goes back, and then back over this way, and then back over this way, and so forth, all the way through to the end. Okay? So just like there is the email campaign, there's also the text sequence that goes out. So this one is the one that touches them within 3 minutes of them coming into the system. So you'll notice the email was 30 minutes later, and the text message is 3 minutes later. So the text message is the first one that's going to go out. Now what we do is we apply a tag that says that this text message, that first text message, is going out. And then we actually send the message. So when I double click on that, this is actually integrated with TurboDial. That's how we send out these text messages from Infusionsoft. So this is all already set up for you with your personal TurboDial key, and it has all the information pre-filled in here. So then it also has the message. So again, in this case, hi Tom, my name is Jeff. We'll pretend I'm the agent here. Thanks for visiting our real estate website. How do you feel about the properties you're finding? So sometimes you might want to change the message to be more personal in a different, how do you feel about, thank you for visiting my real estate website instead of our real estate website. So this is an option for you to change. You simply can come in here and actually make the updates yourself. In our case, we're representing ourselves as a team. And whether you're an individual agent that also works with lenders and maybe your office broker and so forth, that can be recognized as a team as well because there are other people involved in the transaction. So it's up to you whether or not you want to give off the fact that you're part of a team or whether or not you want to make it sound very one-on-one and dependent of you specifically. It's completely your call on that. So then we're going to wait 2 hours, and then at 9 a.m. it's going to remove that first text tag, add another one, and then send the second message. So again, I can simply click on that, see what's going out. Hello Tom, Jeff again. We never give up on helping our customers. Should we send you properties up to 400K? So again, depending on your market, you might decide to come in here and actually change 400K to 300K to 600K. Whatever the average might be out there. Now, this isn't actually keying off of any data that the lead has provided to us, but rather it's making up a number so that we can get a response. The whole purpose of this campaign is simply to get a response. Whether that response is go away, or whether that response is no, that's not correct, here's the correct information, or that response is great, I look forward to working with you, call me now. No matter what, we're looking for a response. That's the number one goal of the Autopilot ISA arrival campaign. Okay, so it's okay that that number may not be accurate to who it's sending out to. It's simply done to get them to respond, and in some cases, correcting us is a way that people will respond. Okay, so that runs through its sequence as well. Right? So now, if someone responds to an email or to a text message, a tag is applied that says two-way contact is two-way contact achieved. Okay, so this two-way contact achieved actually stops the campaign. So if they're one email in or two text messages in, it doesn't matter. As soon as that two-way contact tag is applied, it stops both of these campaigns from going out. You'll see they're both connected. So the idea here, of course, is that you don't have to do anything to make sure they don't continue to receive these automated messages. Once they respond to the system, whether it be via email or via text, it's going to stop the campaign. Now, if they have a bad text number, this bad SMS number, it'll stop the text sequence, but it'll allow the email sequence to continue going. So you'll still be emailing them, the system, I should say, will still be emailing on your behalf to them, whether or not they have a good number, doesn't matter. Now, if they respond to a text message, it's actually setting up this API call, which then goes into what they call decision diamond and kicks it out over into this this big chain here that we have set up. Looks kind of like some spider legs. Pretty vicious spider there. So what it does is it says that if the tag is applied for the 7th text message, then it wants it to add this note. And it simply applies a note that just says that the buyer responded to the 7th auto text. So all of that text, all of those tags where we apply a tag and remove a tag and apply a tag and remove a tag, that's simply to record which correspondence that they, or which text that they actually responded to. Okay, so it's simply for purposes of recording. What it does from there is it adds a two-way contact tag, of course, to make sure that the campaign stops, and it applies a task. So what this does is it actually creates a task. It's called manual nurture, and it says this lead has responded to the arrival campaign and needs removed from the system to be manually nurtured or moved to the survival campaign. Review and update accordingly. So what this does is we have this assigned to you as the lead coordinator or as the owner of the lead or as the agent that's pursuing this lead. It assigns you a task in Infusionsoft so that you know to actively pursue this lead. Or maybe they responded back with, I'm not interested, I'm already working with an agent. So that's also your trigger to then follow up with that lead and identify them as such. But bottom line is, we no longer want the Autopilot ISA arrival campaign running because that campaign has already done its job. It got a response. Now these features down here, each one of these is a tag, and if you remember in the email sequence, I mentioned that we have these links that they can click. Well, what happens is if they click one of those links, let's say this one, please call me to discuss, this campaign is set up to identify the fact that that tag was applied, email 1, call me, so the tag was applied, so it adds a note saying that they responded to that text, or I'm sorry, to that email, and then it creates a task for you to go ahead and call them. So you'll see here it says contact replied to the first auto ISA email and indicated they'd like a phone call. So now you get a task to call them. So again, Autopilot ISA has done its job. The arrival campaign has done its job, and this is all set up just to handle the if this happens, then do these things. This is the if this, then that we talk about quite a bit. So that is your Autopilot ISA buyer arrival campaign. Now the seller arrival campaign is exactly the same in its sequence, however it has different language, of course. So this is a lead that comes in as a seller. There's still a 90-day email and a 90-day text, but the language is different. So if I go to the text messages, it's, hi Tom, my name is Jeff. Did you get the information you were after from our website? So this might be a seller, maybe somebody wants a home seller guide, maybe somebody wants they filled out a form to get a home value. This is meant to just inquire, did they get the information that they were after on the website? The next message says, hello Tom, Jeff again. Did you receive my previous text? We never give up on helping our customers. How can we help you? And then the third text will say, hey Tom, when are you considering selling your property? Again, we've identified them as a potential seller, so this message is one that often gets a good response as well, because they might say, I'm not planning on selling, I just wanted to know the value, or I needed to know what it was worth for taxes, or I'm renting this house, it's not mine to sell, things like that. So again, the goal of the campaign is just to get a response and qualify or disqualify in some cases the actual lead so that we know whether or not to spend time on them. Now the survival campaign is set up to run as a follow-up to a rival. So if somebody in a rival campaign decides, or they respond and says, yes, but I'm not looking for 6 months. Maybe they respond, one of our texts is, are you looking in 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, or longer? Okay, so a lot of times we'll get a response back that says longer. So if it's 60 days, 90 days, or longer, then it's often that we will just go ahead and put them on our survival campaign. And the survival campaign actually does a decision, what they call a decision diamond here. And what it does is it looks, did they respond via text or did they respond via email? So our system indicates how they responded to a rival, and then it actually puts them on the appropriate sequence. So this does not run both an email and text sequence. It runs one or the other based on how they originally responded to a rival. So if they responded via text, what it does is you go ahead and mark them as a launch survival campaign, and it applies a tag saying that it's sending the first message. It waits 1 day, and then at 11 a.m. it's actually going to send them a text. We're excited to work with you, Tom. We'll be reaching out periodically, but you can text or call this number at any time. And then it waits 20 days and then sends another text. Just checking in, Tom. We are persistent, so you know we haven't forgotten about you. Anything we can do to help you today. So it's very non-abrasive. It's set to reach out about every 3 weeks. It's a 12-month campaign that continues to run regardless of whether or not they respond. The goal of this campaign is not a response, although of course we want them to respond, but the goal is actually to keep in touch with them. So whether they respond or don't respond, the campaign will continue to run. Again, a little bit different than the arrival campaign that stops as soon as there's a response. Now it still logs whether or not they responded or didn't respond and which text message. It still has the follow-up tasks here. Oh, excuse me. It still has the follow-up tasks here where, there we go, the follow-up task where if they click the links in the email that it's still going to call me, not now. It's going to notify you, make a note in the system and notify you of their response. So this continues to run. Now, if you do start to take them out and you're now manually nurturing them, okay, this is automation. So if you start to take someone out to view properties or you go on a listing appointment and they sign a listing appointment, we want to stop the campaign. So we simply apply the tag stop Autopilot ISA seller survival campaign or buyer survival campaign, depending on which campaign they're in. And the reason for that is because now if we're actually working someone through the stages of selling or purchasing a home, then the automation will start to work against us. And we definitely don't want that. We don't want to talk to somebody at 10 a.m. today and then have a message go out to them at 2 p.m. because it was pre-scheduled already. We don't want a message going out to 2 p.m. asking them whether or not they want an HOA or not, when maybe you literally just talked about that earlier today. So the goal here is that we don't want them to know that they've ever had automation pursuing them. We want it to always seem personal. And so if you're actively working with someone, you want to take them off of these automation campaigns. All right, so that's survival. Now the revival campaign, we'll look at the buyer revival. This is similar to the arrival campaign in the sense that it's meant to get a response. Okay, so let's look at this scenario. Somebody comes into our system, into arrival, they get a response that says they're maybe looking next year. So then we put them on survival campaign. So survival runs every few weeks and continues to nurture and touch them, and maybe they respond a couple times. Well, what if toward the end of that year they stop responding? So the idea here is that you have an option to put basically a cold lead and try to revive them. That's why we call it revival. And this is a 7-day text or email sequence based on how they previously responded that is asking them questions to qualify whether or not they're still an active or possible lead. So the first text touch in this case says, Tom, it's been a while since we last interacted. When can we connect again? And then the next day, it sends another message that says, Jeff here, are you still in the market to make a real estate purchase? And then the next day, it sends another message that says, I'd hate to give up on you if you're still considering a purchase. Can we connect? Tom. Okay, so the idea of this one is that it literally is just letting Tom know that we're not going to stop asking questions. We're very persistent, and all we're asking for is an answer. It may very well be that he's no longer in the market, and that's understandable, but our goal here is just to get him to tell us that. Having dormant leads or contacts in the system does not help us understand who we should be pursuing and who we should be leaving alone. And that is the goal of our autopilot campaigns. It is to help qualify, nurture, and ultimately help us determine who we should be paying attention to in the process. So if you have any questions, we're very excited about our autopilot campaign. This is a great addition for our team as well as many others that are using the system, and it gets a fantastic response. Some of that will still depend on what leads you're getting, how they're getting into the system, and so forth. Those are all things that we can help you with over here at Ballen Brands. And we would love to help answer any questions that you have. So feel free to email us at team@ballenbrands.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.